And a very good Saturday morning to you. It is Drive Time Radio, your pal New York Vinnie, hanging out with you as we talk cars for the next hour or so, right here on all of the social media channels that we can find. We go everywhere, we look everywhere, we try to find the social media channels that reach you, and we do our best to reach out to you. We have a good show planned for you today. This is MUDFEST week, as you probably know. So, well, I don't know if you would know that actually, unless I told you. I mean, I've been talking about it for a week or two. This past week, we spent a couple of days out on the peninsula, out at the Hood Canal, actually, and in Shelton, testing out some of the best that we could find in the Northwest outdoor activity vehicle category. And we found some good ones. We got a great selection of vehicles that we will talk about a little bit later in the show. And we're also going to spend some time with Nick Kappa. He is from Ram. He's a product specialist, and he brought to MUDFEST this year the Ram RHO. Us old timers can never get past saying Dodge Ram, but the Ram RHO. And that vehicle is a very special vehicle in Dodge's plans. They think that this is one that is going to be wildly popular among people that are in the market for the big bruising off-road dirt-eating pickup truck. If you want to eat some dirt with a pickup truck, they say get the Ram RHO under your butt. Take that around the block a few times or up and down a hill, and you'll see stuff and feel stuff that you never felt before. Well, I did, and we'll talk to Nick about that in just a little bit. For those of you who don't know, MUDFEST is the annual Northwest Automotive Press Association outing. We get about 20 riders together, influencers, people that have to do with cars and telling you about cars in the Northwest. There's plenty of us around, and we get together, and the manufacturers bring some of what they feel is their best Northwest iron out to these events, and they come up and they show us and they tell us and they say, drive this, drive it out on the road, drive it around the track, and then drive it through some hairy situations, which is the track that is set up. And we've been doing this for years. I think this is our 27th or 28th. This is probably my 20th at least that we have done. And listen, it's a lot of fun for the people who write. It's a lot of fun for the people who drive, and write about vehicles and present vehicles and tell you about vehicles. This is big fun for us. But it also gives a lot of people who might not get the assortment of vehicles to drive the assortment of vehicles a chance to get into these cars and trucks, mostly SUVs, really. A few pickup trucks there. But gives us a chance to get into them and kind of, feel a little bit more about them. Not everybody gets a chance to drive a car every week. I'm one of the fortunate people that get to do, that have access to the buffet table of the manufacturers' press fleets. And we just see so many great vehicles, but this is the ones that they think are presentable to the Northwest. They think these are the most likely vehicles that you, the Northwest driver, or you just somebody likes to go off-road or likes to drive SUVs or pickups, that this is vehicles that you would most likely go out there and buy. And they all vie for prizes and categories. So many different categories, actually, that it takes them like 3 days to compile the votes. But we gathered up down at the Ridge Motorsports Park down there in Shelton. A great facility. If you ever get a chance to go to a race or something down there, do that. But some of the categories in the NWAPA Outdoor Activity Vehicle of the Year competition is the two-row family SUV, three-row family SUV, the luxury SUV, pickup truck, electrified utility vehicles, best value and extreme capability, and then there's the overall outdoor activity vehicle of the year. We vote on those. Results will be released on Wednesday, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So we don't have the results yet, but we'll give you an idea who I like. How's that? If we can do that, and you know what, I think I'm pretty close to the have been over the years, pretty close to the voting. But first, let's cover some news items that are going on, because we always advertise that we want to give you news that you could use. Now, I am going to give you a bit of a what would you call it? A bit of a disclaimer this morning. And that disclaimer is that the Yankee Met series is on this morning. So I am doing the show. I am rooting for the Mets, and I do have one eye kind of over on the TV. So right now the Mets are ahead 2-1 over the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. Yankees won last night. And so I can't just let that go. So I'm just keeping an eye on it, but it's not going to affect the show in any shape, manner, or form. All right. One of the great stories I ran across this week, and I do have to admit that I didn't get a chance to delve into a lot of the web stuff that I do most weeks to bring you, to curate some nice information for you and things that you should be looking out for. But I saw this story, and that was published earlier in the week, and I just I thought this was a beautiful thing. Now, listen, many of you know that I am a bit mobility challenged. I have had trouble walking my entire life, really, but certainly have in my older age. I'm a bit slow. I have arthritic ankles and knees, and listen, as you get older and you're a fat old guy, these things challenge you to move around. I've been lucky enough to be able to not have to jump on a scooter or anything like that. Anyway, um, and I noticed this week that Kia, which is, I think, I just think the Koreans, the Kia and the Hyundai, are doing such a great job with their cars, especially the electric end of it. They've got this thing knocked up. And when you get into one of their electrics, you just know it. You know that these people know what they're doing when they put these cars together. And so Kia has a van coming out. I think it's going to hit the United States next year. Not 100% sure when it will be in showrooms, but there's a big buzz about this electric Kia PV5 van. And earlier this week, Kia released the information that the PV5 is going to come not only as a van that you could use to put your family in, but and a regular van we're talking about, not a minivan, but a van, but will also come as a wheelchair accessible vehicle, which will let you wheel straight on board into the side door. It's going to come with a ramp that I believe will hold 400 or 500 pounds so that you can get your wheelchair inside. Now, these are usually, when you see these are aftermarket vehicles. There's a company, Brown Mobility, that takes vans and they make them, wheelchair accessible. They put a lift in it or a ramp, and they make it so that people in wheelchairs can get in these things. And this seems to me that doing this, though, in-house by the manufacturer, as we see so many times in so many different kinds of vehicles, you have the whole engineering crew of that manufacturer working on that vehicle. It's the same people that build the rest of the vehicle. Now, I don't know a lot about Brown Mobility. I've been, I've always toyed with the idea of wanting to get them on and road test one of their vehicles for a week and see, not necessarily in a wheelchair, but Brown even makes it that you can drive the vehicle. I don't see that in the Kia information, but I do see a third row tip up seat that will allow people to assist wheelchair users from the side entry approach. That all of this stuff that is a problem for wheelchair users that have these vehicles has been looked at by Kia. So it is a purely electric vehicle. They call it the PV5 Wave or WAV version, and it really seems that they are taking a lot of that into account. Now, I don't see any piece here that says that if you're in a wheelchair, you can drive the vehicle, but I am sure that is to come. There are many vehicles out there that allow you, if you are mobility challenged, to drive the vehicles as well. States issue driver's licenses to handicapped people who cannot necessarily get in and out of they can get in and out of a car easy, but have problems reaching the gas pedal, reaching the brake. They have levers and different things that they can drive and they can use. And so it gives people more freedom, more mobility. It gives people in wheelchairs and people who are mobility challenged the ability to get out into the woods, get out into nature, get out into different areas that they may not normally get. And I applaud that 1,000%. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I don't have to use a wheelchair. I'm lucky enough that I still have mobility, but I've been in a wheelchair for an extended period of time at times in my life. And you feel kind of stuck in that wheelchair. You don't feel like you can be mobile a lot of times in that, or at least I didn't. I'm not going to say everybody can't, but it really is, hats off to Kia for thinking of this and doing this. I think they'll sell a ton of them around the world, and I can't wait to see them here in the United States. All right. The other news item that I ran into is something I've been tracking down for a couple of weeks, and it looks like this is coming into fruition. It's for the state of Washington. You see a lot of people running around with collector car plates. As a matter of fact, if you have a vehicle that's 30 years old, the popular thing to do, and listen, I'm not immune from this. I did it with one of my cars, is you slap a pair of collector plates on it because you don't have to have insurance on that vehicle. Although I did have insurance on my vehicles. I always kept insurance on my vehicles. And I also, that it's a one-time fee. I think it was $35. And the plates stay with the vehicle. You don't have to smog the vehicle, although it's over 30, so you don't have to smog it anyway. You don't have to pay the transit tax. You don't have to pay the different taxes that are associated with vehicles. As long as the vehicle is 30 years old, you get the plates. Well, they have changed the law. The Senate Committee on Transportation, the House Committee on Transportation came up with this bill that created additional requirements for collector vehicle and horseless carriage license plates to make people comply. People were abusing this. People were taking these old cars that probably shouldn't have been on the road and putting these plates on them, and nobody would ever have to look at them. Not to mention the fact that there were getting to be so many of them on the road that people were, that the transit systems that were supposed to be collecting money were not collecting money. And the letter of the law says that the vehicles are only supposed to be used for participation in club activities, exhibitions, tours, parades, and occasional driving. Now, again, those terms are, loose at best. What is occasional driving? Do they keep uh, a thing on you that says, well, do you have to keep a log? Do you drive this car only on Saturdays? There's no way they can really track it. But the Senate and the House in Washington have changed the law. Now, number one, you are going to have insurance on your vehicle. You're going to have an insurance policy that has a minimum $25,000 bodily injury, $50,000 for two or more people, and $10,000 of destruction of property. Collector vehicles and horseless carriage licenses are exempt from the mandatory insurance financial responsibility requirements. All right, so this is the way the law is going to change. After January 15, 2026, so January 15th of next year, applicants for a collector vehicle plate must provide proof of ownership and current registration of a second vehicle to be used for daily driving, commuting, or work purposes. The DOL, Department of Licensing, is authorized to make exceptions to this requirement if the owner can demonstrate they have an alternative way of addressing regular transportation needs. So if you don't have a different license, a different vehicle or something like that, you'll have to prove that you have some way to get to work, not get to work, whatever, A person who does not meet the collector vehicle requirements, so if you don't have another car, you don't have the insurance, you're going to have to surrender your license plates. A person whose collector vehicle registration has been canceled may operate the vehicle once they have paid the fees and met other vehicle registration requirements. The DOL is also going to send out to people who have collector vehicle registrations requests for information regarding collector vehicle insurance and whether collector plates are in use within 45 days. The request for information must include a statement with the necessary information and deadline for compliance, as well as the consequences of failure to respond for the request for information. So if you get a letter from the Department of Licensing that says, we want to see how you use this vehicle, what the mileage is, so on and so forth, if you get that and you don't answer it, they're going to pull your plates. Also, they're upping the age requirements to qualify for horseless carriage license plates from motor vehicles at least 40 years old to motor vehicles manufactured or built before January 1st, 1916. So you're going to have a really old vehicle. But anyway, this was passed. The bill takes place on January 15, 2026. So if you have a car that has collector plates, you are going to have to, number one, make sure that you have insurance that covers the car and liability, not just the insurance for your loss if you get damage to the car, but the liability insurance. There's several companies that do that. Hagerty's is one that comes to mind. A few different companies that do it, but you will have to have that insurance. That's number one. Number two is that if you get that letter from the Department of Licensing, don't ignore it. Most people that have collector cars have other cars. have another vehicle in their family that's used for regular transportation. Most people. There are some that don't. Again, there are some who saw this as a loophole to slap a pair of collector plates on their car and use it without paying yearly fees and transit taxes and so on and so forth. That is coming to an end. It was abused so much that the DMV, or I should say, Department of Licensing, finally took notice of it and said, "Hey, you know what? We got to do something about this. We're losing a ton of money here on these vehicles." I don't know the number of how many of them are around, but you drive around and you start to look and see some of the. It just there's people that abuse it. This also applies to the old license plates that you buy or you get. That people say, well, we're we have these old set of plates. We're going to put them on this car because it's the correct model year and everything. And so you see a car driving down the street, a 1963 car with 1963 Washington plates on it. I'm sure this will be a big topic of conversation at the swap meet that's going on in Monroe this weekend. And by the way, if you're a car enthusiast and you get a chance, go up to Monroe and check this out. It's really something to see. The fairgrounds in Monroe is the swap meet. I think it's on the rest of the day today and tomorrow. And you get a chance to, some of the stuff there, buy, sell, a lot. It's just a fantastic place to go and take a walk through if you are a car collector. Great stuff. But anyway, those are the couple of news items that I wanted to get out there this week because let's face it, I'm really, my heart is warmed by the Kia story. Just to know that somebody's thinking about people in wheelchairs and people in mobility challenge with all of these cars that are coming. And also that, that the Department of Licensing is, and again, I don't mean to take people's cars away or anything like that, or make it more difficult on people that are already financially strapped. But you have to admit that people have been taking advantage of the collector car plates in every state, not just here, in every place that has collector car plates, because cars last longer now. There are a lot more cars out there that are 30 years old and over that still run and still operate and are daily drivers for people. So people, people will take advantage of these things, and some have, some will continue to. But again, as I say, it's this will hopefully do something about that. All right. Let's talk a little bit about MUDFEST. This is kind of goes along with the Yo Vinnie, what are you driving this week? Because I got a chance to drive some unbelievable vehicles. And MUDFEST was such a fun time. It was held at the Alderbrook, Alderwood. Is it the Alderbrook? Resort, Alderbrook Resort out in out in Union. You're probably familiar with that place. Perfect place, wonderful place. Just a great place to spend a couple of days, even if you're not driving four-wheel drive vehicles around. And then the event was actually at the Ridge Motorsports Park, which is a great facility down in Shelton. And basically what happens here is you show up, you get to with your fellow NWAPA, which is the Northwest Automotive Press Association, of which I've been a proud member of for many, many years. We get together, we look at these vehicles, we drive them, we evaluate them, we vote on them, and that voting is released. But we put them through some changes. We don't just look at them and say, wow, that's a nice vehicle, or driving around some asphalt and say that's a nice vehicle. This allows us to put these vehicles through um, what I think is a pretty tough course. And so I was very, very happy to participate in this thing and to kind of show you some of the activity that was going on. And there was a lot. This course was built by the folks um, at Drive Shop and the folks at our other fine distributor of these cars, people that help us out. If you are if you are a journalist in this area, Page One, and both of these companies, which are competitors, work together to build these courses so that we can really test these cars. Here we see the brand new uh, Subaru Forester that's going through Forester Touring Hybrid that is getting put through its paces. There you see the actual car I'm driving this week, the Hyundai Tucson. Here we see one you may not have seen before, the Ineos. This is a vehicle that we've talked to our good friends, the Lilienthals, about, our adventurers, and that was an interesting vehicle that a lot of people loved. Here goes the once again, you see that that Hyundai Tucson going over the hill and being tested out in a manner. There's the truck that we're going to talk about a little bit later. I think it might have had the most buzz of the event was the Ram RHO, or the Row Your Ram, which was an incredible vehicle. And one that so many people like. That was the new Acura that you see. That was really, when you talk about luxury SUVs, that thing has a lot of luxury. It's the 2025 Acura ADX A-Spec Advance. This was an interesting vehicle that we see tromping through the mud here, the Mitsubishi. This is one that won it a couple of years ago, the 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander Trail Edition. You know, you don't hear a lot about Mitsubishi, but yet they make a vehicle that bears looking at. Here we see the Hyundai all-electric, and this thing was pretty cool, the Ioniq 5 XRT. I mean, this thing, an electric vehicle, that maybe was the most fun to drive at the event. I mean, this thing really shone, whether it was off-road or on-road. Here we see the Subaru, the Forester Touring Hybrid, once again going over some of the course that has been set up. This was a great vehicle. This was the first one I drove each day, and I really, really think that Subaru has something here, especially if you're one of the Northwest kind of people. You love Subaru. You love to go. You're not a big off-roader, but you want to take the family up into the high country, into the woods. Mazda and their CX-50 Hybrid Premium Plus is a vehicle that a lot of people love, and was a very capable all-wheel drive vehicle that handled the course well. And Mazda is known for their sports car feel when you're driving it. But I'm going to tell you that this Mazda, gives you a lot of off-road chomp. Another vehicle that gave you a lot of off-road chomp, and there were three of these in the luxury category: the GV80, the Prestige, the GV80 Coupe that you see here, and the GV70 Sports Prestige. All of these vehicles were as luxurious as it gets, but yet was a vehicle that absolutely, um, gave you off-road capability. There's a Northwest favorite, the Toyota 4Runner, which again was a vehicle that everybody was raving about. 4Runner is just in this iteration, it's just a year old, I think, maybe not even that. And again, one of the surprises, the Tucson that we saw. And by the way, all of this video here is filmed by our good friend Tom Volk, who's been on the show a number of times. His driven car reviews are on YouTube. You can catch them there. Here is, again, one of the newer entrants, one of the vehicles that a lot of people were talking about, especially the Lilienthal's. This is the one they won the rally in Alaska with, the Alcan, is the Ineos pickup truck, the Quartermaster, and a vehicle that a lot of people loved. It looked like a 747 inside with all the switches. There you saw the Volkswagen. Again, a very capable Taos, which is a brand new vehicle. The black 4Motion. And we see that, the three-row family SUV. You'll see it come into view here. The Lexus, which is the luxury SUV, the LX700H Overtrail, which I loved. I thought that Lexus was one of the best vehicles in the competition. I also thought that the Nissan Armada that we see here for a big vehicle was an incredible vehicle. Also, one of my favorites right here, and this one is one I really love. This Honda Passport Trail Sport Elite. This is a vehicle that is a family vehicle, that is a very capable vehicle. A vehicle that will take you over hill and over dale. But as you can see by the number of vehicles and the rigors that we put them through, the tests that we put them through, it was a lot of testing going on, a lot of camaraderie, a lot of people getting together, exchanging ideas. Here is the Toyota, the pickup truck, which I thought was interesting, the Tacoma Trail Hunter. The only thing I didn't like about this truck, to be honest with you, and it's something that you would see on a couple of them, is that air stack that comes up the pillar. I think over several years that would drive you crazy. The noise that it makes. Maybe not. Maybe some people really like it. There is the Ineos Grenadier long wheelbase station wagon, the Fieldmaster, another vehicle that is, the great thing about the Ineos is you're not going to go out there and see a vehicle that you're going to see 4 or 5 or 6 other of them in the parking lot. Just not going to happen. It's a limited production vehicle. It's a sharp vehicle. It's a good vehicle. And again, it's something that will set you apart. BMW powered. There's a BMW drivetrain in it. And a lot of people are raving about the Ineos. There we see the Nissan once. No, that's yes, that is the Nissan. I take that back. And the vehicle again, but all these vehicles ate the course up really well. There's the Mitsubishi going over the big time course. They had 2 courses set up. They had a really a rough one. I mean, one that you would have to. And then here's the Ram. There's the RHO. I mean, that thing was incredible. And again, thanks to Tom Volk for this video. There's the Ineos again, the station wagon going up the tough, radical path. And down the radical path it goes. And it just one of the problems with the MUDFEST is that it turned into more of a dust fest. We didn't get rain until the event was almost over. But you can see that all of these vehicles that we tested were all capable vehicles. Here comes the Lexus again. The Lexus I love because I couldn't believe how much torque it had, how fast this vehicle was for its size, its weight, and its just girth. It's a big vehicle. It's a 700 series Lexus, the LX 700H Overtrail. It was a hybrid, and it traveled, man. I mean, you hit that gas, and that thing took off and went. In the on-road testing, it was one of the stars. As a matter of fact, I'm not afraid to say I voted for it in a couple of the categories. I thought it was just that good. If you're looking to spend that kind of money. I mean, the Lexus, that Lexus LX 700H hybrid is $116,760. I believe it was the most expensive vehicle there. I have to look at the Ineoses. Let's see. The pickup, the Trailmaster pickup was $69,777. Oh, I'm sorry. I identified the Wagoneer before, and it's the Jeep Wagoneer. The Grenadier was $95,975. That Ineos Grenadier long wheelbase station wagon, the Fieldmaster. But again, those vehicles, a lot of buzz about them. The Tucson XRT, you could put in your driveway for $36,240. Of course, tariffs were a big part of the talk this week about the different things that were going on. The tariffs really were something that a lot of people were talking about. Nobody knows what's going to happen with the tariffs. We can only guess. We hope it doesn't destroy the car business, but you keep listening to us and we'll try to let you know, have experts on that can let you know exactly what is happening with those tariffs. We really do our best to try to keep on top of it. All right, it is Drive Time Radio. Drive Time Radio is brought to you by our good friend George Jackson. George Jackson Promotions. If you are looking for things for your business, promotional items for your business, for your sports team, for your banquet, for summer, for anything, please get in contact with my friend George Jackson. George is a master at making sure that what you order is the right thing that you should be using, the best quality, that you get it on time with no excuses. That's my friend George Jackson. He's a superstar when it comes to this stuff. He sponsors this show, has for a long time, and we thank him for that. George Jackson, you can reach him at gjpromo.com. Find him on Facebook at georgejacksonpromotions.com. But if you're looking for what is going to impress people in your world of business, when you have to give out something, when you have to impress people with different kinds of business promotion lines, when you have to promote your business, when you have to make a statement with something, that's not a word statement. It's a statement by handing somebody a gift. We all can't buy people these planes, I should say. It's a big plane. So you have to do it with something different. And George will help you find a gift that'll make them talk to you just like it's a plane, just like it's a big old plane, just like you're giving somebody a big plane. All right, let's jump into one of the most impressive vehicles at MUDFEST 2025 was the Dodge. Well, there I did it again. The Ram RHO. This is a vehicle that many people are talking about. Ram has gone to 6 cylinders and squeezed 540 horsepower out of 6 cylinders in a car or a truck that will absolutely eat up dirt. Now, I know this truck isn't for everybody, but it's for somebody. And to the somebody who this truck is for, here's a little sit down I did with a good friend of mine from Ram, Nick Kappa. He is a product specialist for Ram, and he shoots straight, tells it like it is. Let's listen to that interview. All right, as we're saving the best for last here. Well, not the last, but the home stretch. And how do you spell home? R-H-O. Is that how you spell home, Nick Kappa? R-H-O. I'm going to move this over here, but you're going to...
Right on. This is the Ram 1500 RHO. It's a 2025 model year. It's kind of a special truck, Vinnie. It's a little unique in the market, you know.
There's a buzz about this truck all over the place. When you guys bring anything to one of these events, there's a buzz. But why is this thing so buzzworthy?
Well, this is called MUDFEST, so you got to know there's going to be an off-road element to it.
Right.
And this truck is very much off-road biased. So, start with a powertrain. You've got a 3-liter small engine, inline 6,
right,
twin turbo. And although it's a 3-liter, it still punches out 540 horsepower.
Wow.
And that's more than enough to be able to handle this monstrous truck for off-road. Now, you've got 35-inch tires, and you've got an active suspension system too, with 13 inches of wheel travel in the front and 14 in the rear. So that's plenty for you to move through this with barely challenging the truck.
When people hear that 6-cylinder, though, even though we all know the power that comes out of a 6-cylinder, do they get a little scared off of this truck, or do they get a little nervous about it? Do they want to? You really explain to them, how do I get all of this out of a 6-cylinder?
So, as far as you mean durability goes?
Not just durability, but speed, power.
So what's great about it is you have lots of different driving modes. Like right now we're in auto, so the truck's making the decision depending on what you're doing with the throttle and the steering as to how much it's going to give you. But there's also a Baja mode, a towing mode, a snow mode, a rock mode, a sand mode. So all of those different modes, you can decide which type of environment you're in and how you want the vehicle to react. And there's a lot of different systems that will change depending on your setup.
Between the standard mode and I'm thinking Baja mode is like the one you want to really like have some fun in.
That
right?
is pretty assertive as far as powertrain modes and how much power you're going to get out of the truck. The tip in Baja mode is very assertive. It'll actually hold the gear. So if you're coming on and off the throttle in an area where you're active and you want to stay on the pipe and in the power band, it'll actually do that for you. It changes the calibration and the shifting and the amount of power you get on the tip in. So
not named after the Baja Boys.
No, it actually will rev up the engine a little bit more to keep the turbo boost right on point. So it's always there as soon as you punch it.
Everything that you hear people talking about now is electric. Why do we see Dodge Ram, I should say, sticking with, I mean, obviously they have electric trucks and trucks that are coming, but why are we sticking with a 6-cylinder gas engine off-road vehicle?
You have to have a bunch of powertrain choices, because there's not just one that you can, it's not just one powertrain that's going to make everybody happy. You have to have, so if the person's going to be hauling or towing all day, every day, that's going to take a pretty large battery. That person may be opting for an internal combustion engine because they need the vehicle to run all day. We also have the range extended electric Ram 1500 coming,
right?
And that's actually the best of both worlds, in that you get 690 miles of range. And so if you do run out of juice in the battery or deplete the battery, you still have a generator that kicks on, and you can run the truck on just the generator. If you need more range, you just go refuel. You don't have to plug it in. That's something you can do if you want as much range possible, or with 150 miles of electric range, you just plug it in once a week. Most people are commuting, 30, 40 miles a day. So you can go a lot of days without having to plug back in. But at the end of the week, if your buddies call you up and say, Nick, you want to go motorcycle ride and you're the one with the truck, I don't have to worry that I didn't plug the truck in. So you have ICs, you have electrification, you have range extended variants. It's important to have all the different versions, and especially in one of the most complex platforms that exists in the auto industry, a pickup truck. So on this section right here, you can go flat out. The truck will love you for it.
That's what we're gonna do then. Wow. I mean, stable as a, is a belt buckle. I mean, it just stays.
I'm looking at your camera. It's shaking like crazy, but it's not like that in the street. We're not feeling that.
Yeah, it's
truck's really planted.
Yeah, matter of fact, this is probably the smoothest truck I've driven through that section today.
And you could go 3 times faster.
Right, and I could have gone much faster. I don't rip up trucks like some guys do. I don't want to name it, but I want you to be able to take it home and say, you know what, Vinny, he doesn't do it in front of us. He takes it to the, he waits till he gets the truck and then.
But yeah, it's actually built for that kind of thing. That we put thousands and thousands of miles in this truck before delivering a single one to customers.
What's the most unique property of this truck? What sets this truck apart from what everybody else is telling me I should buy for off-road?
The suspension system. Just that alone. I mean, granted, 540 horsepower out of a 3-liter engine is quite an accomplishment. Great engineering effort. But the chassis and the amount of effort that went into the suspension system to do what it does, and the active suspension system from Bilstein, the shocks, those coming together, and the engineers, what they calibrated, and as the wheels cycle through a bump, it's amazing. Like, let's just say the last couple inches of a hard hit on a bump.
Right.
The last couple inches is what we call in-stop control. And that is really important to be able to make sure that you get the suspension to do what you want it to do, so it doesn't just crash through a bump stop.
Right.
So that last couple inches of the wheel travel coming up is about to hit the bump stop is really crucial to make sure you don't destroy the truck.
And by they say, we haven't felt this thing bottom out, or we haven't felt it. Many trucks you go through here and you feel that boom. This thing hasn't even touched or come near the ground.
Ram engineering team put a lot of time into that. They give me that phrase, in-stop control. And we have the best in-stop control in the business.
And this is something, and listen, this is a developing technology, but you've had this, I mean, I remember sitting with you like at, was it Virginia National Raceway, like 10 years ago, and you were telling me about a similar thing, coil springs in the back.
That was the Power Wagon.
Yeah, with the Power Wagon. Just a different philosophy than most everybody else was doing with their suspensions, with their powertrains. You had a philosophy of power to the wheels, but yet not wild. It was it connected.
And comfort.
Yeah, and it didn't feel like your kidneys were going to come out of your belly.
We did something a little different on that one, and with this, one of the greatest pieces to me, the best story is this one's pretty outfitted. We have the screen here, we have L2 Plus, ADAS, we have a nice sunroof above us, but the base truck, you can get all of this with the basic features in it for $69.95. So 70 grand. You can't build something that can do what this truck can do, and it's backed by a Ram warranty.
Wow.
It's the best horsepower per dollar spent on an off-road package truck.
And that's interesting, because people will buy these trucks and they'll go out and they'll buy all different, go to this distributor, that distributor, get these tires. And besides spending a ton of money more than they spent on a sticker, they'll also wind up voiding warranties, having problems, this, that, the other thing. You buy this from Ram, it's all covered. You say something goes wrong, go right back to the dealer.
Yep, complete package.
All right, man. That was a nice ride. I probably didn't take the truck to the full bang potential, but I wanted to get and talk to you a little bit about this because, like I said, I've heard more buzz around here about this truck than anything else.
Taking anything here too, it's 100% potential. I'm not sure. I mean, that you're going to run out of talent somewhere, especially at this type of level.
Yeah. No, and it's a beautiful red color on top of it. Is this thing out in the dealers yet, or
out in the wild? It has been since October.
Okay.
And you can probably find one of the dealer near you.
And get it quick because I think this is 25% Mexican and 20. Buy quick. There you go. There is our good friend Nick Kappa from Ram. He is a product specialist, and I know Nick a long time, and he is into these trucks as anybody you will meet out of Detroit. And I can also tell you that if he tells you that a truck is good, that it's good. That Ram truck was something else. That RHO. Now again, it's expensive. It's a $69,000 truck. But you know what? If you want a toy that's gonna, take you any way you want to go off road, that's going to do, the king of off road right now is the Toyota Tacoma. I mean, people just love those trucks. So, the people can afford to go out with those, to go buy one of those off the showroom floor and hop it over hill and dale. I mean, I'm not a big off-road guy, but I can tell when I get into one of those trucks that I'm driving something special. This is going to give the Toyota some competition. When you go and you're thinking to yourself, I'm going to drop some money on something that's going to take me off-road, that I'm going to go out to sand dunes and this and that and go have fun with, you're going to go give this truck a hot look because it's a hot truck. It does the job it's supposed to do. And you know something? That is something that we always look at here at Drivetime. Our main credo here is, does a vehicle do what it's supposed to do? And it appears to me, after going through MUDFEST and after going through this vehicle, that this vehicle does exactly what it's supposed to do. So there you have it. MUDFEST was a success. As I said, we'll know the winners on Wednesday. We'll have them for you next week at the top of the show. So you'll be able to take a look at what vehicles. I'm especially always interested in the Northwest Activity Vehicle of the Year. But again, kudos and thank you to all of the manufacturers that entered cars this year, trucks this year, vehicles this year. We always appreciate at NWAPA. And thank you again, especially to our good friends at Page One Automotive and at Drive Shop, who did a spectacular job in putting the courses together for this particular event. They really did a great job. It was a wonderful event. And thanks to Tom Volk and John Vincent and all of the board and the people at NWAPA who put this event on each year. This and also Drive Revolution, which is another event that we do in September. Both of these events are chances for members of our organization to go out and to get into vehicles that they might not normally be able to drive and that they might not normally be able to test. And this is a chance for everybody to get into these vehicles, get these cars, take them out on a course that you wouldn't be able to access normally. Although I'm lucky enough to have some places up north here, as you go north of the city, in the backwoods, that you can go and find and play with these vehicles. But a lot of people don't. So we get a chance to do that. All right. We're getting ready to close it out. A couple of things. I also want to remind you one more time, GJ Promo. If you are looking for promotional items for your business, please check out my friend George Jackson. He does a great job with promotional items, whether you need keychains, whether you need zip drive, whatever you need that you want to give away to people to promote your business, George can handle it and can handle it better than these places that are online, and you send your order in. You don't know if you're going to get it on time. There's nobody to talk to. If something goes wrong, George is there. You pick up the phone, you call him, you say, "Hey, George, what's going on? I need this stuff by Wednesday." And George is going to say to you, "Okay, I'll have it there by Wednesday." It's the kind of guy he is. That's George. And that's why I have him sponsor the show. Because we believe in him, he believes in us, and we all believe in each other. So it's a beautiful thing. So thank you. And also thank you to Tom Volk for his spectacular video of the event. He's the president and for leading our organization through this event and the next event that's coming up. A fantastic event, a fantastic job. Everything went off without a hitch. And we got nothing but thanks for Tom Volk. And you can see his reviews on YouTube. They are called Driven with Tom Volk. Does great reviews, much better than I do, to be honest with you. So if you're looking for in-depth interviews on cars, he's a guy that goes past just the superficial stuff and really does a nice job. He's been around for years. He's been doing it up here for years, and it's awesome to see him lead our organization for the next year or so, and who knows, maybe even longer. We tend to hold on to people at the head of these organizations. A quick note, to a personal note, I just want to wish my my friend Kathy Heaney, it's her birthday today, and I'm going to call her and wish her, but I also wanted to wish it to her on the air because she's a wonderful woman. I've known her since I'm a kid, and she's celebrating a birthday today, and I never forget her birthday. I have a feeling that when I'm gone, I'll be sending her birthday greetings. Wonderful woman and a great friend. And happy birthday, Kathy. I hope you have a great day today. All right, that's going to put this edition of Drive Time in the books. Remember, you can always reach me at Vinnie at drivetime-radio.com. That's Vinnie at drivetime-radio.com. We always appreciate you listening and appreciate your thoughts about the show. We'll have a full show next week as we get busy. What are we driving this week? We're driving the Tucson XRT all-wheel drive. I'm very happy and fun, excited to be driving that. We'll also have our review of the Lexus that we were driving last week that I drove down to the Ridge Motorsport Park and had a great time doing it as well. All right, we will catch you. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. Jeez. Mikey, my partner, Michael Knight. Get well fast, Mikey. We're thinking about you. We want to see you on Monday for Michael Knight and New York Vinnie. Mikey and Vinnie take on the world on most of these same stations. So, Mikey, I know you're under the weather. Get well soon. Get well fast. We love you, pal. All right. We will catch up with you next Saturday morning at 11 if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. Have a good week. Be safe. And buckle up your seatbelt. Have a good one. Bye-bye.